happy Thursday, August 31st, 2023, and welcome to a brand new edition of what we like to call the Clash of Champions. I am your host, the vegan you believe in, Kurt Cadet, aka Conscious Kurt in the flesh as always, and this man needs no introduction.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is his tag team partner, Jonathan Randall, the adventurer himself. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our wrestling podcast, The Clash of Champions. You can follow us on Instagram at champs.clash and on Twitter at the Champs Clash, ladies and gentlemen. Oh boy, I'm excited. We had a wild week. It's going to get wilder this weekend because, ladies and gentlemen, I can't wait for WWE Payback coming up this Saturday, emanating from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That is the setting. But Kurt, before we talk about Payback, do our predictions, we actually have a pay-per-view that took place this past weekend in good old London.
Yes, we had AEW All In taking place from Wembley Stadium in London, England, and the attendance officially was over 81,000 people, which includes
Wow.
81,000 people paid.
Nice. One of my friends, James Kane, was there. He showed me some good pictures over there, and he attended. And yeah, he was one of the fans that were there that night, and happy for him. I know he had a good time. I know everybody else at Wembley Stadium had a great time. And just looking at the pictures of that event at that stadium, just it looked like very surreal, man.
Yeah, it's awesome, bro. Like for a non WWE show to do this kind of business and do that kind of attendance for and like do a stadium show with that, it's impressive. Whether you're an AEW fan or not, the fact that they've been
Right.
able to pull this off, only being around for 4 years, is a huge accomplishment, and they deserve
That is a
every
very yes,
and they
every
deserve
ounce of
every
credit.
yeah, they deserve every ounce of credit, every ounce of props, flowers, whatever you, they deserve all of it because that shit is well done.
I know, and you shouldn't be hating, because I've been seeing the post, man. Like you shouldn't be hating on their work, on what they did to get to this point within 4 years. That's a huge accomplishment. You know what I mean? And if you're hating on that, oh, because of the attendance or whatnot, like who cares? They were able to do something that not a lot of promotions are able to do. You know what I mean? And you look at WWE, a long time ago, especially during the wrestling boom in the '80s. It took them like a while for them to get to that major attendance. If you think about WrestleMania 3, it took them a while for it to get it done. So for AEW to get it done within 4 years, you got to give them the credit. Like you said, whether you're a fan of the product or not, I'm just a wrestling fan in general. I'm happy.
Yeah, I'm happy too. And it just all those people just like finding reasons to complain about it, finding reasons to criticize it. Those are just people who have nothing else better to do than be negative and find some derogatory shit to say. Miserable, depressed, unfun ass people. And I try to stay as far away from them as I can. But with them aside, I'm just happy that they were able to pull this off. The show, the way the show looked visually looked amazing. It looked very impressive.
Oh my God, amazing.
Unfortunately, I did not get to see the show live. I didn't get to watch it, but the highlights I did see and the reviews I did hear from it were all very positive, and I can see why. And this is a home run for AEW. Although, even though it was a home run for AEW, the success of the show was outshined by a certain incident that happened backstage while the show was going on.
I'll tell you what, for one thing, before we get into that, I'm telling right now, WWE, listen, you seriously need to get a WrestleMania over there and make it happen now for 2025.
See how it goes.
Make it happen, please. That's please.
So the way it went down was during the pre-show, Jungle Boy had a match against Hook. I'm sorry, not Jungle Boy, Jack Perry. He had a match against Hook, and during the match, he said in the camera, "I'm gonna use real glass. Cry me a river." referencing to what I talked about on this podcast last week, how he wanted to use real glass for a spot a few weeks ago on Collision, and Punk told him no, and Punk told him that he shouldn't be on Collision if he wants to do that. He has to go to the other show. So basically, what Jack Perry did in this scenario was kind of a knock to that.
Hmm.
So as a result of this, afterwards, after the match, when he gets to the back, him and CM Punk have some sort of confrontation that apparently led to Punk pie facing Jack Perry and putting him in a chokehold and choking him out in the process.
Wow. Pie facing him. Wow, man.
There were stories initially that came out when it first happened that Jungle Boy started it, like Jungle Boy confronted him first. But then as the stories have been coming out more in the recent days, that has kind of come out to be false. But I'm not sure exactly how it went down or who started it, but it just does not look good on either one of their parts. That's the one thing I will maintain. The fact that this even happened in the first place on a day like that, on a day that's supposed to be
Yeah.
that monumental for the company and that big of a deal for the company, and that kind of bullshit's going on, that's a bad look
Oh,
on both of their parts.
man. And then in the result of that, they both got suspended, correct?
Yes, it came out on Tuesday that both of them were suspended, and apparently CM Punk did not find this news out from AEW. He found this news out by his lawyer.
Oh, first. Wow. Man. You know, what's another thing that happened was like, was it like what a day or a couple days prior to the event? CM Punk arrives in London at the airport, and he does not have a ride to his hotel. Everybody else had a ride. He didn't, and he had to get a
Actually,
ride.
actually, I don't know that for sure. Actually, there's no real proof of that. Everybody else had rides. Also, there was something coming out that there was like a shuttle that was supposed to take them there to the arena, but if they happen to miss the shuttle, they would just take an Uber and they would be reimbursed for the Uber afterwards. So, as far as like him being the only one who got left out, I'm not sure exactly how true that is.
Yeah, because it was like the only like he was like the only one that was mentioned, and I didn't hear anything about anybody else. I was reading about how most people were able to get a ride to wherever they needed to from the airport, but he was like the only one that was mentioned from what I was reading at the time. But I don't know, like maybe I need to read a little bit more. But like I said, man, I thought that was just like very weird. It was a very weird scenario. You don't really hear stuff like that.
Yeah, it does seem pretty odd. I'm not gonna lie. Like apparently, like Punk like needed fans to help him get to where he was going because he got
Yeah,
lost.
yeah, that was like wow, dude. Of all like, wow, dude.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how this whole fight, like this whole altercation between him and Jack Perry started. Like whether Punk started it or Jack Perry started it. Regardless, just the fact that it even happened then is just bad. Like
Yeah,
and literally right before Punk was about to go out for his match.
horrible.
There were even stories coming out that they were going to try to switch the order of the matches so that Punk could eventually go out later because of that shit going down. But
Yeah, you know what, that is true though, because like whenever stuff like that happens, they would rearrange the match the match cards so they could just so the two could like whoever it is, they could just avoid conflict with each other. We actually heard stories of this before, so I don't know why. I don't know. Pretty much it was like the heat of the moment, the last thing of the moment for it to happen. So I mean, looking back, that like damn, they're like you should have switched it up. You know what I mean?
yeah, but as much as Punk and Jack Perry were responsible for this whole thing and neither one of them acted well, Tony Khan, in a way, is also responsible for this too because the fact that this keeps going on so often backstage and especially on a day like that, that's also a bad reflection on him.
Why? Because he's not like laying down the law, or
Yeah,
like
that's the main criticism he's getting is that like he's more of their friend than their boss, and he needs to learn how to discipline them and
a little
put
bit
his
more.
foot down. Yeah, put his foot down when his foot needs to be put down.
I see. I see. Vince McMahon would have. He probably would suspend it and fine them.
And that's the thing. Like all of us have like had jobs at one point or another where we know certain behavior and like certain ways of acting is not gonna fly like when the boss is around or the main manager's around. Like when that person's around, you have to behave differently. And yeah, you can't be doing that kind of shit in front of the fucking boss.
No.
And the fact that like it's happening in front of Tony Khan and like and it's been happening so often under his watch, that's not a good look.
Well, it's not. You know what? You do have a point. You know what I mean? Because I really haven't seen him like show any force of major discipline with anybody lately. You know what I mean? He's kind of just been slap on the wrist type of deal with certain mainly with certain people though, but like just especially with the stuff that was going on last year, I didn't really see him do a whole lot. It was kind of just like man, like he'll blow it off. And it's kind
Yeah.
of
When Punk had that whole meltdown at the press conference last year, Tony Khan was literally sitting right next to him.
right,
And that shit just went on the whole time just with him sitting right there.
right.
It's just in a sense, like, I guess like the things I've been hearing is that the crew doesn't really have the same respect for him, like, they would for a Vince McMahon or a Triple H.
You can't be doing that. You can't be taking advantage over people like that, man. Like that's not good. Telling you right now, it's only gonna get worse if he doesn't do anything. It all starts with Tony Khan. It all starts with management in anything. That's any job or business, even sports. You know what I mean? Everybody talks about how come this team's never successful? Well, it always starts with
Yeah.
ownership. You told me about certain restaurants. You were telling me about a certain restaurant that was really bad, and you said, well, it was because of the ownership. So that's how it reflects.
Yeah, and also the most recent season of Winning Time with that one coach dude who's like been
Oh
kind of
my
messing up the
god.
chemistry with the Lakers and all that
Oh
jazz.
freaking Whitehead. Oh Lord.
Yeah, Jason Siegel's character. You're like, fuck,
Yeah,
bro. Like the
dude.
team is not responding to him.
I didn't even know it was that bad, but I'll know how bad it is until I read the book. But damn, yeah, I read about most of that. How Magic Johnson wasn't really him and the coach were butting heads, and he wanted to get traded, and it was just ugly, and that's what led to Pat Riley getting the coaching job. Which I never knew. I thought Pat Riley was always the coach for the from the first championship onto the to the last during the '80s, but I didn't realize he started off as assistant, then went to head coach because of the firing of the main head coach. I didn't know that. That's just crazy. But you're right. You're right. It all starts with ownership. But I mean, with that being said, I mean, you couldn't let that be a cloud over the event because overall, the event overshadowed what happened. You can't let one bad apple spoil the bunch. So,
Well,
uh,
Well, look, the event was great. The reviews I heard for it were great, and the highlights I saw of it were dope. But at the end of the day, more people came out of Sunday night talking about the whole CM Punk and Jack Perry incident than they did talking about how great the show was.
okay,
It's
well, let
not
them talk.
cool. It's
I know.
not cool, but at the end of the day, that was the bigger story. I hate to say it, but it
I
was.
mean, okay. I mean, yeah, it's going to get talked about a lot, but you can't look. Me personally, I'm not going to let. I'm a firm believer of like one bad. Don't let one bad apple spoil the bunch. You can't. Despite everybody was talking about, of course, people are going to talk about it because especially with the crap was going on, last year. So of course, people are going to talk about it. But just some people, they don't know how to look at the bigger picture of what happened throughout that whole night, and that's how I see it.
Yeah, and it was a great monumental night, but just like last year after All Out, it just all got kind of pushed to the wayside because of a whole CM Punk situation. Second
Yeah.
freaking year in a row.
Right.
It's becoming like a yearly tradition or some shit like that. Like Kofi Kingston's Royal Rumble spots.
Oh. With that being said, yeah, you're right. You're right.
But at least Tony Khan handed out suspensions, which means basically Jack Perry and Punk are both going to be off All Out this weekend. And with it being in Chicago, I know a lot of people are going to be very upset. But whether Punk started the fight or not, he still played a part in it, and with that being considered, he does deserve to be punished.
Yeah, they both do.
And the timing of it sucks, but It is what it is. They both acted out in a way that wasn't cool, and they got to pay the consequences.
Mm-hmm.
And also, there were stories coming out that like Punk bitched out Tony Khan before he left the show, and he was like talking about how like he hates being there and that he quits and he's finished. And if that really happened, if that's really true, then yo, that dude does not need to come back if that's the case.
Tony Khan's not going to do anything about it unless he makes the effort to do it.
It's just that Punk is such a big part of that whole Collision show, and whether you like to do it or not, you have to give him credit for how well that show has been doing so far. That getting rid of him would be a big loss financially.
Yeah, in a way, but uh, like I said, it all starts with management. Tony Khan has to really have to put his foot down. So I don't know when he's going to do it, but he needs to do it now and fast.
I think I know what I would say to CM Punk if I were Tony Khan. I think I know what I would say exactly.
Yeah, I think I know.
Go to therapy, you moody asshole. You need to smoke some weed and chill out. You're emotionally immature and it causes you to lash out in a way that makes you look bad. Oh, shit. Hey, look, I say this as a CM Punk fan. I say this as a dude who's been a fan of his for years. Just the way he behaves, the way he comes across things is just, from what I see, very childish, very immature. I even did an episode about this on my other podcast for the Birds a few weeks ago about people who act too sensitive and too triggered, and he's a prime example of that. From his behavior and the way he responds to things, he's a prime example of somebody who's too sensitive, easily triggered, and just the smallest thing, smallest, tiniest, teeny bitty little thing is just gonna set him off.
I agree.
And it's like, bro, he's supposed to be a locker room leader. He's supposed to be a dude that the other dudes in the locker room look up to, and he's doing this kind of shit. Like, bro, is this like leadership behavior? Is this, like a person you could look up to, like the kind of example you want to follow?
Well, I'm not really surprised about this because we talked about this last year. So this is really, I mean, we can't act like we're surprised. You know what I mean? So it's going to be the same routine thing. We're going to be talking about oh, how is he acting like this? Why is he doing it? I mean, we saw this last year. This shouldn't be a surprise. It really shouldn't. Whenever I see news like this, especially what happened that day, I'm really not surprised. I really am not.
Yeah, and look, also, you also can't give a pass to Jack Perry because he was dead wrong for calling him out on camera like that. For what? For what? That shit was unnecessary. Yeah, for doing that shit, he was dead wrong. And then I'm not sure what part he played like when it happened backstage afterwards, but regardless, he's definitely not innocent in this either.
Nope.
Yeah, and like from what I heard before, like the story I heard before about like other people telling Jack Perry not to do the spot with the real glass, and then Punk like being the one who agreed with them. Like in that situation, Punk is in the right and Jack Perry's in the wrong. I would agree with
Right.
that. All these different incidents and all these different situations always surround Punk, so it's like you're not saying that he doesn't have like a legit gripe or like legit things to speak up on, but he's just a common denominator in all these different situations. So in that sense, you have to like think that he bears some responsibility and that a part of it is his own fault.
I agree.
And just when I saw that story come out on Sunday, there's only one thing I said to myself, and I'm going to quote the great DMX when I say this.
But
Here we go again. Same old shit, dog, just a different day. Here we go again.
that's a good sentiment right there.
There's people saying that Tony Khan should just cut his losses and let Punk go because it was clear even before he came back. Like even before he came back, there were stories coming out that he was upset about not letting certain people on Collision or upset about this situation or that situation even before he came back. And ever since he came back, he cut that promo the first night calling out the Young Bucks without mentioning their name, and then he calls out Hangman Adam Page after the show goes off the air when he's not even working a feud with him. And then he had that issue with Dolph Ziggler's brother backstage. It's like, bro, like this dude's only been back a few months and he's already having these issues.
Man.
And then this happens.
Mm-hmm. Telling you, all starts with ownership. starts at the top. So you have to wait and see what's going to happen after their suspension. So
Yeah, we'll see how long they're gone for. We'll see what comes out of this. But yo, it's a damn shame that of all the nights for this to happen, it had to happen on this night, and it's just sad because AEW seemed like they were doing better for a while, and they have had a good summer, but all of this drama sparking up again can be traced back to when you know who came back.
right. Uh,
Yeah, and even Mark Henry was talking about this online the other day. Mark Henry was even talking about the fact that Tony Khan kind of needs to lay down the law and like really understand like when it's time to give your kids a kick in the pants.
see, I'm not the only one who thinks that.
Yeah, Tony Khan's reminding me of Angelica's parents in Rugrats. Remember how like she used to run her parents and her parents used to spoil her and they would never discipline her?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hmm.
That's what Tony Khan reminds me of. Drew Pickles, Drew and Charlotte.
Oh man.
All right, anyway, enough of that. But we'll see what comes out of this. It's a damn shame it had to go down this way, and I really hope the both of them learned a valuable lesson from this. I am holding my breath when I say this, but I sincerely hope they did because if they did not, then fuck. What a damn shame. What a damn sad scenario. Sad.
I doubt it though, but I think Jack Perry will most likely moved on and learned from it more than CM Punk, if I'm being quite honest. So, but
Yeah,
anyway,
I guess so because Jack Perry's was significantly younger. It's not cool that he did this, but he's still young and still learning, so it's a part of life in that regard. But in Punk's case, considering that he's older and been around a lot longer and he's still doing this shit, it does look worse in that regard. I also heard that Jack Perry's really cool with the Young Bucks and that crew, so that might be a reason why this is spewing so much.
right, makes sense.
Yeah, but regardless, not cool on either man's part.
Right.
All right, but moving on, yes, despite this whole scenario, we did have AEW All In taking place from London this past Sunday, and it was a very memorable show. Very, very memorable show.
Yes, and well, we had two memorable dark matches. We did had a tag team match for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. That was between Adam Cole and MGF versus the Aussie Open of Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis.
And I'm bummed out because MJF did the kangaroo kick finally in this match, and I missed it.
Oh man, I saw the clip. I thought that was a dope spot.
Oh, man, motherfucker.
Oh man, that was a good spot though. I liked it though. That was good that they went on first. You go on first, even though it was a dark matchup, but you go on first, pretty much, because they were gonna go on last, and you know how long that match was gonna go. So yeah, they needed that rest. But overall, what do you thought about the match?
I didn't really get to see that match of the whole show, but I'm happy that Cole and MJF won the titles, which means the storyline's going to go on a little longer.
Cool.
So I fucks with this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same here. And on to the next match. And speaking of Jack Perry was in a match against Hook and an FTW rules match for the FTW championship. And Hook regained the title. The title that, that his father Taz was really pissed off about losing to. But Hook, regained the championship by submission.
Yeah, it was a good look. I like the fact that it happened. It was the right move considering that Jack Perry did what he did to him a few months ago, and Hook finally got his revenge and got a win on a big stage, and I'm happy that it went
Good,
down.
good.
And then on to the first match for the real AEW World's title. We had CM Punk defending.
Yes, funny how they mentioned that. Yeah. Wow.
CM Punk fresh out of choking out Jack Perry defending the real world's title for AEW against Samoa Joe.
Yeah. So before we go on, I like for one thing, look, one of the things I really like about CM Punk is his threads. His attire. I love his wrestling attire when it comes to his different colors throughout his career. I love the color of the attire that he was wearing. And I was saying to myself, like, damn it, how come he couldn't? I wish he would have wore that when he was in WWE. You know what I mean? But maybe it was just like a last kind of like a color scenario that he didn't think of back then, and he thought about it now. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Do you saw what he was wearing?
yeah, I saw it, and the match looked like it was good from the reviews I heard and some of the highlights I saw. It was a good match, but ultimately CM Punk retained the title, which I was not surprised by.
Mm-hmm.
But now that he's suspended, it seems like Ricky Starks doesn't gonna have an opponent for All Out this Sunday. So you know who Punk's replacement is gonna be instead?
Mojo.
No,
Ooh.
I'll give you a hint. He won a title at WrestleMania 3.
Oh my God. No. Ricky Steamboat?
Yes, because a month ago, Punk had that match on Collision against Ricky
Yes.
Starks the day
And
of
he the
SummerSlam.
special yeah, and Ricky Steamboat was the special guest referee. Yes. Yes.
And then Punk ended up winning, and then Ricky Starks ended up attacking Ricky Steamboat and whipping him with a belt.
Oh yeah. I remember that. Oh
And it
my
was looking like they were going
God.
to do, and it was looking like they were going to do Punk and Ricky Starks. But now that Punk's suspended, they might do Ricky Starks and Steamboat instead in a strap match.
Wow. Oh, wow. I like the idea. I mean, it makes sense. It's a good idea, but crazy, surprised to hear that though. But wow, and I think he can still go. I remember I was just seeing a clip earlier that he was like at some little house show, little event last year. I think it was like in some 6-man tag match though. But yeah, I mean, it looked like he could still move around the ring and go.
Yeah, he's older, but he doesn't look old. I'll say that much. He did like you could tell he's an older
Yeah,
man now,
yeah,
but he doesn't look old. Like he doesn't look
yeah.
he doesn't look like he's like been beaten to death by life.
Right. Okay, with that being, yeah, that's true though. But I'm looking forward to it. So on to the next match. We had a 6-man tag match, and that was between the Bullet Club versus Golden Elite. And the Bullet Club won this match. It was Jay White, Juice Robinson, and Konosuke Takanisha.
Basically, the elite. I'm sorry. Basically, Bullet Club Gold did win the match, but
Mhm.
barely. So from the way people were describing it, is that it was good, but they were kind of disappointed that it wasn't like more of a one-on-one match, like like Kenny Omega against Jay White or something along those lines. But
Mhm.
whatever, it was still fun
Mhm.
regardless.
Yeah. Okay.
And another action for the AEW tag titles, we had FTR defending the titles against the Young Bucks.
Man, this was surprising though because after what happened prior, with the situation with Cash Wheeler and the cops and everything, I predicted that they were gonna maybe drop the titles as a form of punishment. Usually, stuff like this happens in wrestling though, but it didn't happen that night because FTR retained their titles. Crazy though, but it is what it is.
Yeah, and the Young Bucks, the sore little losers that they were, refused to shake their hands afterwards.
Damn. I mean, could you, in a way, could you blame him though? You're in a tag title match and you come up short.
I
Yeah,
don't
but
want
you're
to.
all right though.
I don't want to hear it, bro. I don't want to hear it.
No, I'm not defending it though, but I'm just saying, messing around.
And then afterwards, they released footage on Dynamite last night of like after the match, like FDR like confronted the Young Bucks, asking like, "Yo, what was up with that? What the hell was up with that?" And they just mentioned that like they were just
Wow.
upset. They were just it was just in the heat of the moment. They were bummed out that they lost, and that it wasn't anything personal. And they're actually gonna team up this coming Sunday at All Out against some Bullet Club Gold, which should be
Oh
interesting.
wow.
But I think there's gonna be,
Interesting.
but I think this feud isn't over. I think this feud is still gonna keep going on, considering how this is all going.
I can see. I see.
And it's funny, you know what FDR stands for, or initially what it stood for a couple years ago?
What?
Fuck the revival, and that was started by the Young Bucks.
Oh, okay.
Because remember, FDR used to be called the Revival in WWE years ago,
Yeah.
and back during those years, the Young Bucks started like a campaign online called FDR, which stood for "Fuck the Revival."
Mm,
Yeah,
that's interesting.
that's initially what it stood for.
Okay. Wow. So, on to the next match. We had a stadium stampede match. I think they had plenty of room to do that match in Wembley Stadium with the size of that stadium.
Hell yeah.
Okay, but yes, this match consisted of the team of best friends. That's Chuck Taylor, Trent Barreta, Eddie Kingston, Orange Cassidy, and Panta El Zero Mierio, defeating Blackpool Combat Club, which consists of Claudio Castagnoli, John Moxley, and Wheeler Yuta, Mike Santana, and Ortiz.
Yeah, Santana just came back last week after being gone for over a year when he was injured in the blood and
Oh,
guts match last year due to a torn ACL. And
yeah.
even though Sam and Ortiz were on the same team, they are not cool still, apparently.
Mm.
I think I talked about this on the podcast a while ago that like they were on bad terms. They weren't getting along. They weren't cool with each other. And even though they were on the same team last Sunday, they're still apparently not cool.
Oh man. Ugh. I mean, at least they didn't freaking, like, you know, pie face each other, whatever they did backstage after the match or whatever. You know what I mean? But I don't know.
Yeah, as long as they can still work together and be professional at school.
True, true. That is true. That's a good point.
Yeah, because you don't necessarily have to like the people you work with per se, but you have to at least like be professional and
Thank you.
civil around them. Like where even if you
Yeah,
run into them and
yeah.
come across them, like you don't start a problem, you don't say something slick or try to
When you're,
cause a
yeah,
commotion.
yeah. Especially when you're doing a job like that, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not
Especially when you're in front of
healthy.
the camera.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
healthy.
nah, nope.
I remember when Leaders of the New School, Busta Rhymes' group actually broke up in the middle of an appearance on Yo MTV Raps.
Oh, wow. But yeah. So best friends won that match, and just the spots that I was seeing, especially with John Moxley. My God, I mean, it shouldn't be a surprise, but I mean, this is John Moxley. See how he is, man, and the spots he was doing in that match was always beyond me when I see them.
That dude loves blood, doesn't he? He's like a fucking Carrie movie.
I know. Good lord, the whole blood bank in the whole entire hospital.
Hell yeah. Yeah, but this match was pretty bloody from some of the highlights I saw, and the best friends did pick up the win. Good shit.
Mm-hmm.
But moving on to the next match, we had a four-way for the AEW Women's title, which featured Hikaru Shida defending the title against Britt Baker, Toni Storm, and Saraya wrestling in her home country.
Right. Good for her. And Soraya got the win and is now your new AEW Women's Champion.
Yeah, I'm happy for her. I'm happy that it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Considering she had to retire a few years ago and all that went down,
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
she got to have a match in Wembley Stadium in front of her family. Her whole family was there and shit,
Woo.
and
Congrats.
and she got to win the title. Good for her.
Yes. Good. Good.
Yeah, after watching Fighting with My Family, especially seeing that happen, like definitely makes me feel extra good.
Good.
It was nice to see Saraya win, but considering that she doesn't really wrestle full time and she's barely wrestled that much since she came back, I don't know if this title reign is gonna last long. I don't know if it's gonna be like a long, lengthy title reign per se.
So you're talking about like a month?
Possibly she could end up dropping it to Toni Storm because her and Toni Storm had dissension throughout the match, so it doesn't look like they're gonna be cool anymore.
I see. I see.
I do like Toni Storm's new character though.
Oh, you do?
She's like a spoiled European princess, some shit like that.
Oh my God! Wow. I think about Angelica now.
that that butt buckle she does, that like that one when she like runs her like butt into your face in the turnbuckle. Holy shit! I can imagine how painful that move is.
Damn.
Fuck me, but happy Saraya got the win. Happy Saraya got the moment. And actually, a special someone was sitting in the audience throughout All In that they shot to multiple times, and that certain someone was Mercedes Monet.
Yes, I saw a picture of that. And, when we saw that picture, now everybody all over social media is, speculating that, she could come to AEW.
From the way it was looking, they didn't put the focus on her so many times if she wasn't going to be somebody who's going to be on the show eventually soon.
Mm,
Whether she signs with them or does like just a few matches, she's definitely going to be appearing there again at some point.
true,
And her and Saraya have unfinished business that could definitely still go down at some point.
true, true, true. So, on to the next match. We had a coffin match. The tag team match actually was between Darby Allin, Sting versus Christian Cage and Swerve Strickland.
And Swerve Strickland and Christian are arguably two of the best heels in AEW right now.
Oh yeah, especially Christian Cage, especially how like what she said to her daughter on it in that promo. I was like, my God, I was like, dude. But it's good heel work though, regardless. So, but anyway, yeah. But Darby Allin and Sting got the victory. I don't know. Do you see any clips of the match?
I didn't, but I'm sure it was fun with these four guys involved, especially Darby Allin's crazy ass.
Right. Who do you think is more crazier, Darby Allin or no? No, I shouldn't even ask. Shouldn't even ask. We should know the answer already. I was gonna ask you who's like a little bit more crazier, Darby Allin or John Moxley.
It's different. It's different.
Ah, I see. Both crazy in their own way, right?
Yeah, it's like two different kinds of crazy and two different kinds of like in a sense reckless crazy, but crazy nonetheless.
Gotcha. I see what you mean. So,
Yeah.
on to the next match. We had this is a personal one. We had Will Ospreay versus Chris Jericho.
And Jericho performed Judas in My Mind to the ring with Fozzy for his entrance.
Nice, nice.
I'm so bummed I missed this show. This show looked like it was mad fun.
I know everybody was just like, my friend was there. James Kane was there. You know what I mean? So, I mean, like I said, man, man, if they bring WrestleMania to London, would I go? Oh man, what would it be like? You know what I mean? But yeah, but Will Ospreay won this match. Didn't really see much of the highlights from this match though, but hopefully when I have the time, I will check it out. Just watch the whole entire event, as well. But yeah, Will Ospreay won the match. And on to our next match, we had another 6-man tag match. This time a house rules, no holds barred match for the World Trios Championship. And that was between the Acclaim versus the House of Black. And the House of Black had a very interesting, very special entrance, paying tribute to the late great Bray Wyatt. I love this entrance so much; it was really dope. Kurt, I don't know if you saw it.
I didn't see it. No, I didn't.
Oh, it was dope. I loved it. Very dope. House of Black always has a dope entrance though, but this one just really tops it. But and in this match, the Acclaim won.
Little surprise, yeah, they did win the match and the tag titles. They did that whole angle for the last month where like Billy Gunn looked like he was going to retire, but he came back eventually.
Mhm.
And they came to the show and won the titles. And yo, I'm happy for Billy Gunn. Even at this stage in his career, he's
Yeah,
getting to have a big moment like this.
yeah, at a stadium too. You know what I mean? I don't even. Wow.
Yeah, but in any event, it was cool to see them get the belts, and they actually got the new design on last night's Dynamite. They revealed like a new color strap for the belts, like pink,
Yeah, I
the
saw
color
that.
of their gear.
I saw that. That was cool. And now to our final match, the main event of the night. And that was for the AEW World Championship between, as you like to call him, the scumbag fuck, MJF.
You gotta say it like this. You gotta say it like this.
What?
The scumbag fuck MJF defended his world title against Adam Cole, the cool and likable guy.
And man, I really didn't even know. I couldn't pick. I didn't know who was going to win. I couldn't pick. It was hard for me to pick, especially with the storyline. But I just knew that, you know, whoever's gonna win. I mean, it doesn't matter who was gonna win. I just felt like this friendship is gonna end because it's gonna get personal about who I didn't beat this person. I have to beat this person type of deal where I was comparing it to Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio back in 2005. That's how I was perceiving it. But Matt, from the highlights I saw, it was a great match, but it was the ending that really just captivated me. I don't know if you saw it, Kurt.
No, I didn't see it. Break it down.
So the match is over, and then pretty much MJF was kind of like tired of it. He just feels like Adam Cole was gonna, he wanted him to hit him with the belt, and he turned his back, expecting him to do it, but he didn't. And he turns around and they hug each other.
Yeah, I guess like a Bret and British Bulldog SummerSlam '92 dynamic where like the handshake kind of like
Yeah,
seemed like it wasn't gonna happen at first, but then eventually did, and everybody
it
went home
was
happy.
it was more like a test of friendship. You know what I mean? Even though the match was over, it was kind of like a you know feel like you don't like me. If you want to end it, do it. Type of deal. Turn his back. It was kind of like how, if you remember, between Batista and Eddie Guerrero, how Batista turned his back, expecting Eddie to hit him with the chair or whatever, but Eddie didn't.
I didn't really watch that part of it, but I think I remember parts of something similar to that happening. So yeah, go on.
It was somewhat similar to that though. It was pretty much like a test of
I got
friendship
you.
in a sense. So that's yeah, that was pretty much like the vibe I was getting from there. But yeah, MGF retained the title. Almost went, well, it was like a minute off of 30 though, but went 29 minutes straight. The still friends. They're still the tag team champions, but MJF is still the world champion. So moving forward, we're just I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. My gut feeling still feels like there's something. I don't know. I feel like something's gonna happen still.
Well, they are scheduled to defend the Ring of Honor tag titles this Sunday at All Out against the winner of a Battle Royal
Mm,
tomorrow night on
right. Mm,
Rampage. So we'll see what
we'll have to see
happens with
what
that.
happens. Yeah. Make my prediction from that point on moving forward. Yeah.
Yeah, but overall, great show, successful show.
Oh yeah.
I'm bummed that I missed it, but I'm glad that the show came out well. And I'd probably say from what I saw, better than SummerSlam.
Okay.
All right, but let's get back into some WWE news. As when we did our episode last week and started it off, we talked about the unfortunate sudden death of Bray Wyatt. And since we did our episode last week, more information has come out about that.
Yeah. So apparently, it found out that, I mean, yeah, Bray Wyatt passed away in his sleep, but it comes to find out that Bray Wyatt left his like what was like a breathing treatment machine or whatever he left in his car.
Well, basically, Wyatt was hospitalized for like a heart issue the week before, and he was being advised to wear an external heart defibrillator, like the thing Triple H has,
Mm-hmm.
which is something that's designed to treat a sudden cardiac arrest. And then he went to take a nap like during the day at his house, and then he never woke up. And they ended up finding the defibrillator in his
Yeah,
car.
because his wife went to wake him up because his alarm went off and he didn't wake up, and that's what led from there though. But yeah, he left it in his car. That was the now. There's speculation if he didn't leave it there, would he had still passed away? You know, I really think that would have helped if he, didn't leave it in the car. But it's very unfortunate, man. It's damn sad to hear that.
Yeah, it's sad. It's sad to see that it went down this way, and you would have never thought, all those things that were going on with him a few months prior, when he disappeared suddenly, that it was going to lead to this.
Yeah, it's just really sad how like you didn't, something like that. I don't know like how far his car was from his house or whatever though, but I mean, just something like that it really could have been avoided. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just one of those things that you just never see coming, and then when it happens, it just messes with you. It just
I
really
know,
messes with your head. And I'm sure it's messed with everybody else's head
of
who's
course,
known him personally, was
of
close with
course.
him. I saw WWE yesterday dropped on YouTube like all the recorded interviews of everybody talking about their memories of Bray Wyatt and like their experiences with him, like
Mm.
Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Drew McIntyre, Byron Saxton, and Samantha Irvin even saying he's got the whole world in his hands. Yeah, they had mad tributes.
I remember like, I mean, I'm not going to say like, oh, who was better or what, but I think the one that really stuck out to me the most was Jericho's, because Jericho was with Fozzy. They had a show. It was the day after Bray Wyatt had passed away, and he had mentioned to the crowd about you know losing his friend and all that stuff, and the whole crowd was singing. He got the whole world in his hands. So that was very heartfelt. I really love that.
Yeah, also that tribute Seth Rollins did on online last week, where he was talking about the fact that like the main conversation that he had with Bray, or like one of the last ones he had with him, was about like not taking things for granted and making sure that you hug and kiss your little girl, and that's like the main thing that like stuck out to
Yeah,
him. He even like did like a tribute to him during his house show match on Saturday, where he would like how like Bray would like always hold on to the ropes and like hang upside
yeah.
down. He did that during the match.
Oh, yeah. He did that in a house show.
Yeah, that's what I was talking
Yeah,
about. And then on Friday on SmackDown, they did the 10 bell salute, and Braun Strowman was there, and Eric Rowan was there for one night only. Cody Rhodes even showed up and made a cameo too. And they had that nice video package for him, that very beautiful, well done video package. And yeah, it's just unfortunate when it goes down this way. And it's unfortunate when somebody that young dies so suddenly, and leaving behind a family, leaving behind 4 kids, a fiance, brother, sister, father, many friends, and other family. Yeah, it's a horrible, horrible thing.
but like I said, man, our condolences and prayers are still with them at this during this tough time.
And Becky Lynch also had a nice tribute for him on Raw Monday after her match with Zoe Stark. After her match with Zoe Stark, she held up the Bray Wyatt armband she was wearing and then just started crying as like the show went off the
And
air.
what I like,
And you could tell like how
yeah,
emotional she
and
was.
what I liked about it, like, after the show went off there, she cut a promo talking about how Bray Wyatt meant a lot to her, and how he just like the advice that she was getting from him about how how Bray Wyatt helped her like in a tables match one time, and that really meant a lot to her. So that was very heartfelt. A lot of, man, that I missed that episode of this past Monday Night on Raw. I wish I, it really sucks, man. I missed it, man, because that it looked like a lot of stuff happened that night. A lot of good things happened that night, especially off the air, Kurt. I don't even know where to begin. I don't even know where to begin. Like, should I start how we had a surprise um, appearance by a certain somebody, a hometown person?
Yes, we did. We had the return of Jerry Lawler
Yeah,
for the first time
yes.
in
And it was during the
several
commercial
months.
break, though. So Kevin Owens was talking, and next thing you know, he brought out Jerry the King Lawler, because yeah, Raw was in Memphis that night, and just seeing him in good spirits and just seeing him smile, that was just such a great feeling to see that, man.
Yeah, it was nice to see him back. I'm glad that he's looking like he's
Yeah,
doing better. And one chant throughout the night that ran rampant was the chant known of "Whoop that trick." Whoop that trick, whoop that trick, whoop that
Trick
trick.
Williams. Oh my! I'm really starting to like this guy, man. I love it. I'll tell you what, though. I don't know. Have you been keeping up or a little bit of NXT lately now, or
No,
just
not at
still
all.
been like, man?
Not at all.
Okay, I feel you. But yeah, Trick Williams, dude. He it's just it's really catchy and funny. I love it. I absolutely love it. But yeah, like back to Raw, like, man, so much stuff was going on that night, man. Like, even Miz's promo on LA Knight was funny. how often do we see it's been a long time since I've seen a promo where a wrestler is dressing up and making fun of the person they're feuding with. It's been a while since we've seen that, hasn't it?
The last really good one I remember seeing was years ago, actually, from The Miz and also Maurice when they were making fun of John Cena and Nikki Bella during like the feud going into
Yeah.
WrestleMania that year.
Yeah, that was 2017. Holy crap, man. But yeah, so
They
LA
both killed
Knight,
it. By the way. They both killed it during that promo. By the way, both all
they
the
did.
promos they were
And
doing, they killed it.
yeah, Miz was really killing in this promo because so LA Knight's song hits, and you know how the crowd is. They make a major pop, and it turns out that wait a minute, this is not LA Knight. It's Miz dressed up as LA Knight, and he did a just classic heel work, doing a good job making fun of LA Knight, mocking him, and making his point. I loved it. Building up to their match at Payback this Saturday. I absolutely love it, Kurt. Kurt, what do you thought about it?
I thought it was fun. I thought it was entertaining, but I think we
Yeah.
know how this match is going to end.
Of course, we know how it's gonna end. And
Also, the main event was great between Becky Lynch and
that
Zoe
that's
Stark.
yeah,
That was
that's
a
what I was
fun
about to get into.
match,
That was a good match. Loved it.
which featured some miscommunications between Zoe Stark and
And
Trish
Trish
Stratus,
Stratus. Mm-hmm.
as Zoe knocked Trish into a table by mistake, which
Yeah.
caused her to get distracted. And then Becky hit the man slam to Zoe through a table down below and got the win.
Mm-hmm. The good match though.
So, yeah, it was a fun match. And I think
Yeah.
Saturday we're going to get something just as good.
Yeah. Still a lot of dissensions made in within Judgment Day to the point Rhea Ripley's laying down the laws. Like if you can't get it done, there's going to be some changes, and those changes that she's talking about, Kurt. So it's really funny how they put this together. This is why I'm looking forward to this Saturday. You have Damian Priest and Finn Balor teaming up with each other to face Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens for the tag team championships. And Rhea Ripley's pretty much staying out. Like, if you guys can't get this job done, if you guys cannot fix your problems, more importantly, then she says she's going to make some changes. Man, that wow.
Yeah, she basically said like if they all don't walk out of Payback with titles, meaning her, Dominic, and also Damian and Finn Balor, yes, there will be some changes made.
Oh
And yeah,
yeah.
I think after Saturday somebody's getting kicked out. Somebody's getting kicked out.
I feel it. Oh, I feel it. I will get into that later. But then the last thing I'll say on Raw, bro, the Seth Rollins and Shinsuke Nakamura feud is just it's getting better at the moment. I love it. I like it. Shinsuke Nakamura did another promo just like he did last week about about Seth Rollins' back, but this time he's getting more in depth. You can see him training. Look like he's training for Cobra Kai.
The All Valley tournament.
That's right. That's what he's doing.
He's training for Terry Crews.
That's right. But
I'm
anyway, I
sorry, he's
love
training for Terry Silver. He's training for Terry Silver.
right. But anyway, I love it though. I love it though. I love the promo, and I can't wait for this match, which will now finally get into our prediction for this Saturday's Payback. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Emanating from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, the Steel City, this Saturday, September 2nd on Peacock. If you don't have Peacock, you probably have cable, but watch it. So, with the first match of the night, we have Becky Lynch versus Trish Stratus in a steel cage match. Now, Kurt, you were saying about the miscommunication between Trish Stratus and Zoe Stark. What is you obviously you think Becky Lynch is going to win?
Yeah, I think that's the right outcome. I think Becky finally wins and
Yep.
puts an end to this feud for good. And
Same.
that might come as the result of miscommunication between Zoe and Trish,
Mm-hmm.
possibly. But regardless of whether or not that happens, I do pick Becky to win and finally put an end to this feud because I've even heard Trish say herself that she's kind of ready to move on from this.
That's fine, especially with her age and mother time and all that stuff. But hey, like at the same time, look, you got to give her credit for the work that she's been putting in, though.
Well, I don't know if she's necessarily done after this match per se. I'm saying that when she said that she might have possibly been talking about moving on to another feud, another
Oh,
storyline.
oh,
I don't know if she's necessarily done with this run after this match,
right, right.
but we'll see.
I see what you mean. But yeah, I have Becky Lynch winning, and I really predict this will be a very good match.
And Trish finally got to say she did a cage match because she never got to do a
Yeah,
cage match in her first run, so now
yeah,
she's getting to do it now.
yeah. So for our next match, we have finally, we have Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez for the Women's World Championship. Oh, you know what? Okay. I love Raquel Rodriguez. I love both of them, by the way. Okay, but look, I want Raquel to win. I really do, though. But I really think that Rhea is going to retain the title because of the fact that look, she hasn't been doing much with the title lately. You got to be more of a good champion to make this more meaningful if you retain because you haven't been doing nothing of it. You know what I mean? So I think Rhea Ripley retains. I think this feud is going to extend a little bit longer.
Yeah, I think somehow Rhea retains also. I'm sure it'll still be a fun match, but I don't think Raquel needs the belt right now. And I don't think she has enough momentum right now to get the belt. So I
She
think
will
Rhea
later on.
retains.
She will though. It's just that Rhea Ripley, because of the fact, look, she just hasn't done much with the belt. You know what I mean? It'll be weird, like you haven't done much, nothing of it, and you just lose it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think Rhea Ripley retains. And on to our next match, we have Rey Mysterio versus Austin Theory for the U.S. Championship. I don't want to see another
Eh,
boring Austin Theory title reign. No, Rey Mysterio retains.
of course, Rey Mysterio retains. Austin Theory's not getting that belt back anytime soon.
No,
After that last run he just had,
yeah,
bro,
that's
he's not getting that belt
yeah,
back
that's why
right
I was saying
now.
I don't want to see another boring one. I mean, we all thought that when he beat John Cena at WrestleMania, we all thought okay, it's gonna be smooth sailing for him moving forward, but it really hasn't. So has been a slow sell, but yeah.
It's been the Titanic,
Oh
is
my
what it's
god.
been.
So he hit the iceberg at WrestleMania.
Yeah, some shit like that. He might as well have, even though he beat Cena, like it's just been downhill ever
Yeah. Oh,
since.
true. Yeah, sinking slow and slowly.
And I think they're going somewhere with this whole Rey Mysterio and Santos Escobar thing. So I think with that being said, that Rey Mysterio is going to retain, and whenever he does drop the belt, he'll drop it to Santos Escobar,
Hmm.
as because I could see Santos Escobar eventually turning on him.
You saw that little short little interview that Dominic Mysterio had on the bump, where he's asked, "Oh, were you happy for your dad Rey Mysterio win the U.S. title?" He's like, "Look, why should I be happy? He had to win a championship just to prove something. Like, oh, he's the U.S. champion. I'm the North American champion, where I'm represented in the U.S., Canada, and that's
Mexico.
yeah, I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of I like that. I was like, you got a point. I was like, that's funny though. I don't know if you
A
saw
little
that. If I find
bit.
it out, huh?
A little bit, but I didn't see it. No, I didn't see
Yeah,
it.
I thought that was funny though. But yeah, but anyway, on to our next match. We have L.A. Knight versus The Miz. L.A. Knight wins this match. I love it. I love the back and forth with each other, especially L.A. Knight. Oh my god, L.A. Knight's just been going ham on the mic with Miz. Oh my god, love it. But yes,
I
LA
love his
Knight.
promo last Friday. I love his promo
Yes,
on Friday on SmackDown,
yes.
especially where
Oh
he used the
yes,
Bray Wyatt references. Yeah, he killed it.
killed it, killing. It. I love it. He's getting bigger momentum week after week. I love it. So let's see. Next match, we have a Steel City Street Fight for the undisputed tag team championship between Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn versus the Judgment Day of the team of Finn Balor and Damian Priest. Look, after what I saw, what I heard from Rhea Ripley about how she's pretty much going to lay down the law if nothing's done right. You know what? And with Finn Balor and Damian Priest still butting heads with each other, look, they're still going to continue butting heads with each other in this match, and that's going to cost them that match. Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn is going to retain the titles.
I agree. I definitely see it going down that way. They're going to have another form of miscommunication, and it's going to cost them the match and the titles.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure who it is, but one of them is going to be out of Judgment Day after this show is
Oh
over.
yeah, yeah. I think it'll be Damian.
I could see that. Yeah, I could definitely
Yeah,
see that.
yeah. And now finally to the main event, and that is between Seth freaking Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura for the World Heavyweight Championship. Oh, so personal. All about Seth Rollins back.
Which I heard he actually opened up about on Logan Paul's
He
podcast a few
did.
months ago. He did talk
Yes.
about that.
Yes, he did. That's exactly. And they made, I love how, certain wrestling promos, throughout history. I love how certain ones, how they'll like to go a little more in depth, personal with what's going on and use it as a promo. I love that. But man, man, I don't know. I really would love to see Shinsuke Nakamura win this match. But do I really think that Seth Rollins is going to drop it? I think Seth is going to retain, but I think this feud is going to extend a little longer.
I see Seth retaining as long as he doesn't have the back problems that are that bad to the point where he needs to take time
Yeah,
off.
that's the thing though. That was the one that was tricking me for a while because yeah, he did open up about his back, but the thing is that I mean, is this really the time? Is this using this as time to take off because of his back, maybe? And maybe Shinsuke will win because of that? I don't know.
That's
I
what
just
I
don't know. And that's the tricky thing, though.
that's the thing. Like if it's gonna be like if he really needs to take time off because of his back, then I think Shinsuke wins. But unless that's the case, I think Rollins retains. And hopefully this match main events the show for a change because Rollins hasn't main evented one pay-per-view since he
It
won the
should.
title.
And it's for the World Heavyweight Championship. Come on, like, and everybody's like, you got to. This is your championship on Raw. You got to make it the standard barrier now. You can't just push this off to the side because if you keep doing that, people are gonna look over it like, oh, it's just like another championship. You know what I mean? And from all the feuds in this event, right? I'm gonna go your top three feuds. Number one being the most personal one. I think this one between Seth Rollins and Shinsuke Nakamura is the most personal one. I'll put LA Knight in the Miz number two, and in number three, I'll put Becky Lynch and Trish Stratus.
The thing I'll say is that there's no Roman match on this show. There's no Bloodline match on this show, or
No,
Brock Lesnar match, or Cody match. So this
no.
match might as well main event. With all those
Oh,
people not on the
but
show, this match should main event.
well, I forgot though. Cody does not have a match, but he will be there. I forgot about that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, yes, he's gonna be on Grayson Waller's talk show on
Yes.
Payback.
Yeah, I forgot about that. We'll see how that goes, but
That'll probably be used to set up his next feud, whatever his
true,
next feud's gonna
very
be.
true though. We all know how
We'll
that
see.
ends. It's gonna end with Cody probably beating him up in the end. So, but yeah, overall, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this event. I think all the matches on the card are just gonna be great. I love it.
Yeah, I think it should be a fun show. I'm not saying it'll be like the most mind blowing show ever. Like the car doesn't look bad, but I can't say like it's a car that like blows me away like some of the past ones have. But I think even with that and like the low expectations, considering that, I think they'll still surprise us and put on a good ass
I
show.
believe they will.
Yeah, and one person who will not be on Payback this weekend will be Bianca Belair as
Oh
the
yeah,
angle they did a few weeks ago on SmackDown where Io Sky hit her in the knee with the chair. That was a way to write her off TV as she's going to be gone for a few weeks. They said it's going to be from a few weeks to about 3 months
yeah,
tops.
yeah. Just need some time off.
Yeah, that's fine. It's all good. It's the fall months anyway. The fall months aren't really the most fun time for wrestling anyway, so it's good timing for her to take a break.
True.
And I guess Io Sky could be occupied with Bailey and Charlotte and Asuka for the time
Yeah.
being. It's
I
all
saw
good.
Bailey. She was at the Beyonce concert the other day.
Yeah, I did. I saw that too. Everybody's been going to the Beyonce
Yeah, I was
concerts.
there too.
Oh, that's right. You did go. How was it?
It was fun. I don't really listen to Beyonce a whole lot though. My girlfriend does though. But I mean, just like, it was a good show. It was a good performance. Her visuals was very good. She does a really good job. Just excellent job on a performance scale. It was a very good thing to be a part of, and I liked it and had a good time.
Good shit. Yeah, it was in Atlanta a couple weeks ago. Yeah, she had three
Oh,
shows
what?
actually here in Atlanta.
Oh, three? Holy crap! Usually they do two. She had two here in Vegas though, but
Yeah, I can imagine the money that tour is making between that tour and the Taylor Swift tour. I can imagine the money they've been raking in.
yeah, I just like blow me away.
Yeah, I fucks with Beyonce though. Always fucks with Beyonce. Doesn't age for shit either.
No, no.
Oh yeah, but also tomorrow night on SmackDown, one person we're going to be seeing is John Cena, as he's going to be back touring with WWE for the next month,
Yeah.
including a show in India next week.
Mm-hmm. I wonder what's the for though. I mean, I'm not against it. It's cool though, but I'm like, wow, this is a lot though. It's been a while since he's done multiple shows all in one month or so.
Yeah, I guess because of the whole writer's strike and whatnot, he probably has a lot more free time. So I guess he decided to boost up his WWE schedule for the time being.
Good, cool.
Maybe he can bring the cast of Peacemaker with him, and they could have a stable. I'd be down for that. Yeah, oh, Vacation Friends 2 dropped last week also. That movie that he was in a few years ago, they came out with a sequel for it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was okay. It wasn't as good as the first one, obviously, but it was fine for what it was.
Gotcha.
I like John Cena's movies, honestly, more than The Rock's movies.
Rock. I mean, because you got to remember, Rock started small and then went up. He had small parts in TV shows, then went up and had a small part in a movie. Then it went higher and higher after that. Kind of like Rock's movies, a little bit more better. I could literally name like a few Rock movies that I'll actually will sit down and like, okay, I'm gonna watch it. Scorpion King is one of them. I mean, look, I know people hate on the movie Doom, but I mean, like, he still like carried himself in that movie. The game plan that was a good family movie. You know what I mean? So I had to go with Rock. But if you're gonna say who's the better wrestler turn movie, actor, it's Batista all the way. That's no debate.
Yeah, that's a fair pick. Yeah, he's done very well for himself ever since
There
he got
is
into
no
Hollywood.
debate. You cannot. There is no debate with the work. It's not just the fact that he's just in a movie. He's literally putting in the craft and the work in his roles, and he does a damn good job at it.
Yeah, he kills it. And we'll see how John
Yes,
Cena kills it in these next few weeks on SmackDown and all the other shows he's going to be on along the way.
looking
And
forward. Looking forward to it.
maybe he'll have a rematch with Austin Theory. We'll see how that goes.
Ooh, that would be interesting. Well, damn. Wow, that would be interesting. You could call him out, talking about you've been talking about, yeah, I beat John Cena. Well, why won't you face me on SmackDown? Yeah, that is a very good point. That's a good prediction. I like that.
Yeah, because that match at WrestleMania itself was just kind of like just there. Like it wasn't really anything much to it. And it ended like very, prematurely too. So maybe they could have a rematch
True.
and do better.
Yeah.
But we'll see what's up with that. And also, Brian Pillman Jr. just recently signed with NXT, and he's going to be there for the time being.
Oh, it is. I think I did hear something about that. It's good for him. Congrats.
Yeah, he was in AEW for a while. He wasn't really getting a lot of TV time, and then he eventually ended up leaving. But we'll see how this works out for him. Hopefully, it's a good fit.
I hope it. I hope it will too. I believe it will.
All right, but I think it's time for us to wrap it up.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget, it's this Saturday, Payback, Labor Day weekend. You know what the
Also,
deal.
Also, All Out this Sunday as well. Although it's weird having AEW do two pay-per-views back-to-back Sundays, it's still happening regardless.
Weird,
So
yeah.
yeah, you can check that out as well. I mean, personally, the card doesn't look bad, I think, but it's not really a card I'm going to go out of my way to watch compared to last week's.
I feel you.
But for John Randall, this is Kirk Cadet for another edition of the Clash of Champions. Also, my book, My Senior
Yes,
Year, A Story
yes.
of Friendship, Drugs,
Thank you.
and Fear of the Future will be out tomorrow on Amazon through Kindle.
Congratulations, Kurt.
So make sure you get your ass a copy.
Congratulations, Kurt. Yeah, I forgot to mention about that. Yeah, I posted it on our Instagram page. But yes, ladies and gentlemen, check out Kurt's new book available on Amazon tomorrow. Kurt, congratulations on the new book, man.
Thank you, bro. Hope you guys enjoy it. It's very personal story. A lot of experiences I know many could probably relate to when they were in their high school years. And I hope you guys get a lot out of it, and I hope you guys come out of it feeling that you were on an emotional roller coaster. That's the best way I could put it.
Got you.
All right, so until next time, for John Randall, this is Kirk Cadet for another edition of the Clash of Champions. Take care. God bless. And don't be an asshole in real life or on social media,
Because
because
that
that
shit
shit
is for the
is for the
birds.
birds.
Peace.
Name of my new podcast too.
I know
Listen to it.
for the birds. I know that.
Yeah, check it out.
Got you.
All right, take care, guys. Good night.